Welcome everyone to the first episode of the first season of the S.S.S.S.S.S or 6S's, the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show. My name is Justin Smith, two-time first round pick, first overall pick, second ever spectacular invitee at all. I gotta redo it now.
You're good.
It's so hard reading this because it's like right next to me, but I gotta like look away.
And one update I gotta say.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm King Kringle, not King Kirsch for the spec.
Oh, just wait for it. Your
King
introduction
Kringle, baby.
is unstoppable. All right, ready? Welcome everyone to the first episode of the first season of S.S.S.S.S or 6S's, the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show. My name is Justin Smith, two-time first overall pick, second ever spectacular invite, and the most consistently robbed player in spectacular history. I'm joined today by King Kringle, the King Kershaw, the one who started it all, the man who introduced us to Tim, to Odie, and now to Franklin, the golden child of the Lucchese crime family, Daniel Peter Kershaw.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. Very excited for this.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge, monumental moment in the history of the spectacular.
I got lucky with this being the first guest, and I'm ready to crack it open, baby.
I couldn't believe it either. And I had a lot of people tell me that it must be rigged that I got you on first because it does seem like the perfect introduction. But I'll have you know, I spun that wheel, it landed on you, and here we are. Everybody will get their fair chance. Everybody will be on the 6S. So let's start it off. For all of like the rookie and sophomore contestants, the ones who haven't been to too many spectaculars, can you tell us a little bit about the spectacular, like how it came to be?
Sure. I mean, this is an event that really started probably 10 to 15 years ago now. If I'm thinking back, I probably attended my first spectacular. This was, of course, back before it was called the spectacular. Maybe when I was 7 or 8 years old. I'm 22 now. As I said, I can't do math, but you at home, you do the math. 22 minus 8, or I don't even think that's how you would do that math.
This
but whatever it is.
So loved by the committee.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an event that's grown over the years. That's all about eating as much as you can and celebrating Christmas for as long as you can. Because in my opinion, and a lot of others, it's the greatest holiday we got. So why not extend it? And make it as long and as great as you can while bringing together, people from all different backgrounds that are surrounded by yourself.
Yeah. So given all that, you've been going to the spectacular for multiple years. You know the whole committee. You know the whole ordeal. Invited your fair share of people. Committees helped out a lot of the time. Back in the day, you used to be the one who was really giving out a lot of the invites.
Right.
But at that being said, how do you feel like the spectacular has changed over the years? Do you think it's progressing in a good manner?
Well, I mean, like you alluded to, back in the day, a lot of times it was me having to invite, but at a certain point, I mean, it just got too big for me to handle, and I had to, of course, enlist the help of the committee, who I feel have done a great job.
Yeah.
I know it's controversial. Some people feel certain ways, and and rightfully so. But I think they've done the greatest job they could with what they've had. But I think it's all been positive, the changes. It's just gotten bigger, better. It's reached the eyes and the hearts of more contestants and more fans out there. And I think whenever that happens, it's a positive thing.
It's getting to the point where I'll go out in public and I'll see friends I haven't seen in months, and they'll be telling me like, "Hey, can you get me into the spectacular this year?"
Right.
So
right.
You got to tell them to take it up with Franklin, Odie. Everybody's always trying to get in, but I have a lot of respect for the committee for bringing up the best of the best. Really doing their best to give everybody their fair rankings. So we've been seeing a lot of spectaculars. I personally have been going for 5, maybe 6 years at this point, every year. I haven't missed one spectacular, but I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen at these spectaculars. Like I left my phone on Cal's car hood.
Yep.
Drove down the highway. The bugle playing.
Of course.
The kiss on the waterfall.
Yep.
What do you think has been your favorite spectacular moment over the years?
Of all time, you're saying?
Yeah.
Ooh, favorite spectacular moment of all time. I'm gonna. It's awfully personal, but I'm gonna harken back to my first ever tree lift.
Okay.
Um, or even more so, scratch that. I'm gonna go to a future tree lift. My first tree lift post knee injury, because
Okay.
that was something I didn't know if I'd be able to do it again. And when I got it up on my shoulder, it was like I was back on top of the world, and it really signified the end of that injured period for me. So it was amazing for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. Um, Me personally, I feel like that one spectacular, maybe it was 2018. I'd just come back from Buffalo, and me and you were the only people at the spectacular other than your
Yeah.
family. And I remember your grandmother was very sick at the time, and we thought she was going to go, and you started burning yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
To me, that showed the most Christmas spirit.
That was a beautiful moment for sure.
It was. That was incredible. So just harkening back here, sextuple S.S.S.S.S. was like really founded to breathe life into the younger generation of rookies, sophomores, juniors, the people who
Mhm.
have been around as long as me, been around as long as you, as Leif, you know, like due to history, I feel like me and Leif have been in the top three 99% of the time. I can't even remember a time where me and Leif didn't both go in the top three, except for last year when I got fourth.
Mhm.
Um, so, like that being said, the people who have been here for a while, like me or like Leif, and the people who just continuously hold that 1 through 3 spot, do you feel like that discourages rookies, or do you feel like it kind of gives them a leg up to say like, hey, you could get here one day?
You know, I hope it's not discouraging. I hope what it is a model, of consistency and something to shoot for, and something to aim at. I think if it would be easy to get to that top three spot your first year,
Yeah,
then doing the specky might not be as enticing. It's important to be able to work hard at something and then eventually be paid off for it. Um, with the 3 year window, though, the longer we go, people that are juniors, like you said, or like don't have much time, will still have 3 years. And at that point, it'll be all fair game. I
yeah,
think we're in the beginning stages. It seems like we're deep into it, but really, if you think about it, I expect the Specky to go for another 50, 60 years just with our generation
for
before we
sure.
pass it on. So we're really at the beginning stages of this. And I think 10 years down the line, that little head start that you guys have will almost dissipate. And I think in a good way where that everyone will have a fair shot.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's really what this is about. I want to give more voices to people who have been closer to the bottom. I, for one, maybe it's a selfish reason, I want to see a tougher fight. I
Yeah.
want the people who really show that they're going into this. I want them to be able to be highlighted and be brought up to the top. I mean, Leif, totally fair game. His number ones have been the most legitimate. I'll give him that. Over time, he's consistently put the most work in, even beating out like people like myself. I mean, Zeke had a showing last year, but
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like Leif is just he's consistent. He's lights out from wherever he's going. So, you know, but I would like to see some new people in like 3, 4, 5 spot, a lot like what we've been seeing lately. There've been a lot of really good surprises, Cal dropping out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's been a hell of a roller coaster, especially last year. Last year was a pivotal moment in spectacular history.
Right.
Different venue, different tree cutting, different people. Like everything was not in a bad way, but everything was different. So
Right.
I don't know. Um, Next question is we're gonna talk about Lars a little bit.
Okay.
I didn't really want to single out like 1 or 2 people individually. I already brought up Leif, so it's only fair to bring up his brother. Lars came in last year at number 2, was it?
I believe so. Yeah.
So that was only his sophomore year, if I'm correct. Uh,
Yeah.
so he climbed up to that number 2 spot, beating out every other veteran besides his brother, Leif,
Yep.
who's been pretty much impossible to beat since he came home from San Francisco. Do you feel like that fire that Lars brings to the spectacular can be replicated by other people, or do you think that kid just has something special?
Well, I know it's not the answer people want, but it's both. I mean, that kid has something special, no doubt about it. He's one of the greatest. I mean, think about it. The year he got drafted rookie, look at the pipeline. He was probably the 4th ranked rookie that year, had no shot of making it. All of a sudden, some weird things happen, as they do. He gets a 5th pick over Rob, who just shits his bed on his campaign, and he comes out with one of the greatest rookie performances we've ever seen
I know.
into a blossoming career. But at the same time, we saw it the next season with Zeke. I think that the pipeline is still very strong. It gets depleted every year as we get more great people in there. But the pipeline is strong. We saw it the year before Lars with Liam and Mike. I think this can be repeated again and again. I think we've got a lot of strong candidates.
You actually went after my next question by bringing up Zeke, because I was going to say, is it similar to Zeke's rise to fame? Because Zeke is more recent. Lars, like we have more of a sample size from, because he came in from the dead bottom, rose to the very top, sat at number 2, and then was in the running for MVP on top of it. So all things considered, Lars has had a run. Zeke is right in his footsteps, but in terms of spectacular history and overall like tradition, Lars he's up there with some of the veterans, if not beating some of them. So we've talked a little bit about the history of the spectacular, about some people, how we expect the landscape to change. What I want to get into, and what I know everyone around me wants to hear, is what do you believe the power rankings are going to be, or what is your power rankings thus far? I know a lot of people haven't really began campaigning. Those people will surely suffer for that. But the people who have began campaigning, the people who have been tweeting, like just overall carrying over from last year, the 3-year slate, where do you see number 1 falling?
Well, listen, I had made a little bit of rankings in preparation for this video, for this podcast. Would you rather me go back 10-1? I have my top 10, or you just want number 1?
You know what? We can do 10-1. I'll join you around 5, and we'll match.
Okay.
I do need a little brief reason behind each person, though, if you're comfortable.
Yes, and that's the reason I want to do all 10, so I can give a shout out to everybody.
Okay, I like that.
That's
what we're all about here at S.S.S.S.S.
100%.
I mean, it's a depressing topic. You never really want to put that 10 person in the 10. But, there's still plenty of time to rise up, whoever this person is. But let's hear it. Who's number 10?
And don't forget, there are people after 10. So to be in this top 10 is an amazing opportunity in and of itself. But top 10, I got number 10 right now, Mike Johnson. We're talking about not but 3 years ago. What an amazing rookie campaign. Great moment, falls out of a car. The guy's sure he got picked because of his color, but that's 1 year.
Yeah.
He was right there last year, but we're sitting here now. This is 2 straight years of no demonstrated interest. And, this is a tough league. It is like any professional sports league. You can come in, have a hot flash in the pan season, but if you don't keep the production up, you're gone. There's no love lost for anything like that. So he's sitting at 10. A lot of potential, though.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I am surprised about how his ranking has fallen over the years, just considering how good he was when he was here. It really is just overall lack of interest, but he's one of those people who they put in a solid campaign this year. He could easily go 5, 4, 3. I can 100%. See that. That being said, who do you think is going to go 9th right after him or before him?
I got Mistletoe Matt right now down there at 9. Okay, the pipeline rankings haven't came out yet. Still working on him. He's going to be one of the top 3 prospects coming into this year, and he's a stud. The demonstrated interest has only snowballed. It's not great, but it's slowly creeping up. He's been active. He's got a great name, great personality. Spent a lot of time in fantasy and with softball. A lot of good scouting been done by the committee watching. And I think the kid has a bright career. I really do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's one of those people who I hear his name, I'm thinking like Christmas 30, 31, Christmas Spectacular. He's going to be centerfold. I really believe that. He's one of those people who is going to be around forever. He's going to look great when he's older. I've seen his dad multiple times.
100%, yeah.
So he'll be kind of like the person that we're pushing forward to be like, this is a spectacular. Here's Massavalo. He's great looking.
100%.
So leading into that, where are we going with number 8?
Number 8 right now, this is when it gets tough, right? These are all people that could get drafted, and it's crazy. And not that Matt and Mike can, they certainly can. But we got Rob at number 8. Reason being, He came on strong somewhat late last year, ruffled a little bit of feathers with the amount of announcements about announcements. Understandably so. He's had a spotty pass. He had an iffy rookie year. He had so many years he was invited and couldn't come. Then he put together 2 really strong years, had another great year last year. Really, his performance of late, and I mean of late by 3 years, has been great.
Yeah.
And that rookie year is now off the table, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Well, that's
He's poised,
good.
but he hasn't said anything as of late. And I know it's early. It's been 4 days since it's opened up, but he hasn't said anything yet.
Mid-season for me, at least.
And I don't know how much effort he's going to put into it, and I'm tentative with that. I think if he does, he'll be great. If he doesn't, this is where he's here.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Rob, I like Rob's chances a lot when he's good. When he's consistently putting out content, when he's chirping the other members, when he's propping them up, when he's making a showing, and he's really, reaching out to the committee and saying, like, hey, I'm one of the OG veterans. Like, you got to get me up there. I think he's good. Problem is, I feel like there's little to no effort 90% of the time. And I mean, I know a lot of people could say that about me. I'm not trying to put down Rob or put me up. But I feel like the effort is the key there.
Yeah.
Unlike Mike, where Mike just needs a little push and he'll skyrocket, Rob is expected of him because of how long he's been here.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
a lot more than Mike would need. I probably most likely would have switched him if that's not too hot of a take. But I'd really like to see Rob. Rob's one of my best friends. I'd love to see him at the Spectacular. But what happens happens. He's got to really show effort.
Yeah, and I think what you said makes a lot of sense, but that's the pressure of being a veteran. And the reason he has that pressure on him is because of how good he's been, and how people really, the expectation on him is to be as good as he has been. And that's been great.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me is going to be the Big Daddy C, kind of in the same vein. Dropped out last year, made a big statement on day one saying he's going to change it this year. He's going to go for it. I mean, this was a kid, again, 2 years ago. He was supposed to be the next guy to take first place. He was supposed to be the guy to kick Leif off. And I mean, he's taken a tumble, but he is not too far from jutting himself right back in the conversation. He's right there.
Again, he's kind of got Rob syndrome. I think he's as another one of the veterans. I feel like he needs a presence. He needs, some activism. He needs to get in there and be like, hey, I'm Big Daddy C. I've been coming around since freshman and sophomore year of high school, whenever we first started. I mean, I know it was just me and you until maybe like junior year.
Yeah.
And then, no, it might have been junior year until like sophomore year of college. It was just me and you. And then sophomore year of college, I went number 1, but there was other people.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I know freshman year was just me and you because that's when you tried to burn yourself alive. Yeah, no, but Cal's been coming for a decent amount of time. We've known him for a decent amount of time. You guys have. I haven't really, but he could actually make a run. He's one of those people who, like, you either love Cal or you wish he was dead, and
believe it or not, it's both for me. It's really
no, I know it is for me too, but he's got to capture that love or that hatred, whatever kind of
capture the hatred.
He wants to play the hero. He wants to play the villain. He's probably the best at either of the two things. I think, hot take, I think villain Cal will get him top 3. Doesn't show a lot of Christmas spirit, but it will show the passion that I feel like he's missing. And I feel like that will boost him a lot.
And that's an interesting idea. I mean, he could have got picked last year if he didn't drop out. And he wasn't by no means out. So, like, he
could have. I mean,
he's right there.
That race last year came down to the wire between Zeke and I. I know a lot of people were upset that I went before Zeke. The committee does what the committee does. Whether I feel a certain way about it, Zeke may have deserved it more than I did. I think committee kind of went for veteran leadership over like a hot young rookie. But the rookie, like, he showed up. I do believe I performed better at the Spectacular, but I believe that he had a killer running. The fact that he even went 5 was almost an insult. It just shows how good the game is lately. I could have seen Cal going 6 after me, and then Zeke would go before me. if I had picked it. But that's up to the whole team, committee members, and anyway, who do you see going number 6? Just right out of contention here.
This is when it starts. I get some hot takes coming in. This is when it starts. Number 6, I got Zeke right now currently. I got Zeke sitting at 6. An amazing rookie year. One of the best we've ever seen. But I've been hearing thoughts he might not be able to even make it. And I mean, could this be like a one-hit wonder flash in the pan? I don't think so. I hope to God not, but it's a possibility. If he comes off a good rookie year with a guaranteed selection and then doesn't show up, I mean, Justin, this could spell, like Saquon Barkley ACL injury. Seems like the greatest running back of all time year 1. He might be out the league next year. Yeah, I don't know. It's a hot take, but if Zeke wants to come and he does great, he could be top 2. But I'm a little weary right now. I have him bumped down to 6.
Have you spoken to Zeke, or has the committee spoken to Zeke recently regarding his attendance?
I couldn't tell you what the committee's done. As far as I know, I don't think they've spoken to anyone. I have spoken to Zeke about it. He's very steadfast. He's going to be there. But I don't know, man. Notre Dame's a big school, and depending on the date, it could be tough.
See, I'm here thinking he's in Kabul.
And he could also be in Afghanistan.
My hot take is after Notre Dame's done, he goes and joins the tally.
Right.
Which would spell horrors for the spectacular. I mean, I know that that's his roots and those are the holidays he celebrates, but he looked like he was really enjoying his first Christmas last year.
He certainly did. Listen, I love Zeke, but I got to have some hot takes on this list, and that's one of them. I thought a lot of the people above him, I feel like I'm sure of where they're going to be this December, and that's where they are right now.
Listen, I mean, there's almost no way to do this without throwing in hot takes. This is as close as ever. It's even closer than last year, if you ask me. And it was crazy. So number 5, this is where I'm going to start joining you in here. I'm going to give you 2, and we'll see if we kind of collide on a lot of this. Number 5, for pretty much the reasons I just said, I have Zeke at number 5. I have him caught up. I think insane campaign. I don't care what anybody says. He had the most shock value. He was getting the people going. Every time Zeke dropped a video, you make sure that your parents are out of the room. Like he was solid. He was really good. I like to see him exploring Christian and Catholic holidays. I know that that's new for him. Zeke is like, he's one of those guys. He comes in, you just don't know what's going to happen. He's certainly calmed down over the years, but he just has this little twitch in him where, like, you bring him to the spectacular and you're like, God only knows.
Right.
So I like him being in the spectacular. I like that shock value. I have him at number 5.
Okay, number 5, I have Liam for a similar reason as Zeke. Don't know if he's going to make it. Okay, he's at USC, so a little bit tentative there. Liam is, golden child of the Specky. Never says anything wrong. Never does anything wrong. He toes that line.
Yeah,
and he's an awesome presence. He really is. Not just that he's a kiss ass. He's not whatsoever. He just does everything right. He doesn't step out of line, and he's such an amazing candidate. So consistent, model of consistency.
I actually have him switched with Zeke and Liam. I like Liam a lot. I think Liam did a great job last year. Liam is one of those people who, like, he goes to school, which is unlike a lot of us. He has an education, which is, God knows why he even wants to come to the spectacular if he's getting a real college education. But even so, like, he'll be in Florida. He'll be in California, and we'll be FaceTiming him in the car, and he's always there to scream that he's ready. He's one of those people who, no matter what the circumstance, he shows up. Even if it can't be physically, he's there. And it's been that way for a consistent amount of time. I don't think the shock and overall, like, potential of Liam is as high as Zeke's, but I believe that it's certainly up there, higher than most.
Yep. I agree.
So we're going to move on to number 4. And 4 is where I have my hottest take of the night.
Okay.
If you want to go first, if you want me to go first, whatever works
for you.
Take it.
You take it.
So number 4, it's not going to be on anybody's radar, but I actually got Cal.
Okay, I like it.
Listen, as I said, you love Cal, you hate Cal. You never really know. Sometimes he just doesn't exist whatsoever. That's kind of how me and Cal have been for the past maybe 4 or 5 months. but that gives me a reason to believe that he's brewing something. Like he's about to do something.
Mhm.
I've never seen anybody catch a football, any kind of ball, projectile, the same way that he does. And
Yeah.
I feel like he might be able to really catch himself
Woo!
from the bottom of the rankings. Cal is one of those people who like he needs some sort of motivation, and I feel like he's lacking the spectacular spirit in a way that can still be reversed. I feel like he was overwhelmed by how hard we were going last year, but now that he knows that, I feel like the mentality in Cal is that he won't lose.
Mhm.
I feel like he's going to really fight for this. I do feel like he'll suffer a little bit from last year and for disgracing the committee in such a manner. But Cal's one of those people, he's been here for forever. He has insanely high potential. He is really tall. You can look at all those trees in the field. And honestly, he just has a really good like endurance. Just given his he's one of those people who can get there at 5. He get there, he gets there whenever. Well, I said 5, but the spectacular starts much earlier, like at 10, and he'll still be going at the end of the night.
Yeah.
He can eat a lot of plates. He's really like the overall, like he's one of those people who they have like 5 attributes and you give 4.5 stars to 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then like I don't know. I think he has a good shot if he puts.
I think you're right. And I think a couple of things you said that were important was there's certainly an adjustment period last year. I mean, it was a shock to the system, to the veterans. And you saw what happened. Rob and Keller now further down on the list, they couldn't make it because of what the young blood did with the campaign.
And
But he's such a competitive person. Like you said, that I think he comes back.
I like that a lot. That's what 6S is about. 6S.
Yeah.
6S is big on getting those people who never really thought they had a chance and showing them that there is a light. So Cal's frustration at that kind of took me by surprise. The fact, he'll throw the bombs out there like you're gonna pick like these people like when we've been friends for so long, but that's the whole point. Spectacular is not about friendships. It's about showing up for the committee, showing up for the culture. If you're not going to commit with the culture, I don't think I can hang around you. And that sounds harsh, but this is the spectacular. We wait all year for this.
Yeah.
I was playing a podcast in maybe like mid-March. And I mean, I'm glad that I could finally take it off, but nobody was willing to talk spectacular back then. This is my year.
Amen.
No matter what ranking I fall at, I'm pursuing that MVP. I don't care if I get picked 5th. I want the MVP. I do feel like I was robbed last year.
Yeah.
It's my best performance of all time.
I still love your one and only, the only when you were the only invite, that performance. That's my personal favorite. But listen, you have a lot of great performances to go on.
Cock-a-doodle-doo to young children, to old women, to pretty much everybody at the spectacular who was wearing a suit and tie. I walked up to them and said cock-a-doodle-doo, wearing a rooster costume at a family event. Then I brought around a bugle and blew it in everybody's faces at the Christmas tree place. Left my phone on a moving car going 55 miles per hour down the road. Made it through the whole spectacular and was one of the most active members the whole time. I set my record in plates. I mean, there's not a lot that I didn't do last year.
If that doesn't scream Christmas spirit, I don't know what does.
No, exactly. And I think that's where most of my fire this year is coming from. Is from the snubbery that happened last year. And I mean, I don't know who casted those ballots, and I'm sure they casted them in good reason. Leif is a solid contender. I just feel like maybe last year I had a bit of a better run.
You want to go with my 4th?
I'm digressing. Yeah, I want to see who's at 4.
Larsy Bear for me is number 4. I got a little bit of a hot take.
Yeah.
Great rookie year, amazing second year, did great. And he's having a decent campaign right now. Love Lars. I absolutely love him. The only reason he's as low as 4 really is because of the hot takes I have in the top 3 and where I'm excited for. And I'll get to those in a second. But Lars, like I said, he's like Liam in that he's never disappointed. Liam, Didi, and Lars, they just don't disappoint.
Yeah.
And I think Lars is just the slightly more egregious, I'll say, version of Liam right now, and I got him 2 spots up.
Yeah, I like that take. That's
or 1 spot up. I'm sorry, 1 spot up.
So we're gonna go with number 3. I do want you to start off on this one.
Okay. Here is probably may or may not be my biggest hot take, but probably second biggest hot take. At number 3, I have prospect Joe Traverso. Okay.
Really?
I gotta tell you, I took some time before Specky season started to review the tape from last season. The video he put out about defusing Zeke's missile.
Yeah.
I mean, even the cinematography on that, probably, in my opinion, it might have been the best video put out last year, and I think it's so underrated. He had such a great. I mean, everyone knows he was snubbed last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have been a pick. Everyone knows it. It's just there's so many, not enough spots for so many great candidates. And to risk it when 2 rookies is just too risky for the committee if they both fail. I mean, you got to understand the pressure the committee's under. If their top 5 doesn't perform, it's screwed. But I am so high on Joe this year. I think this is his year to get picked. I think he's going to have an MVP performance. I am high on Joe Traverso. Higher.
I like that a lot. Had I even reviewed those things before I made my list, I would have placed him a lot higher than I did. Joe is one of those people who he's never really made the Specky, but his campaigns have always been ferocious. They've always been. Yeah. I mean, this kid is posting videos of him playing Christmas music in March.
That's what I mean. The guy, he didn't stop.
Yeah, no, he never stopped. It's almost like the spectacular never started or ended. He just kept going year round.
Yep.
And I really respect that out of the kid. I could definitely see him being taken this year. Number 3, I already kind of talked about myself, but that's where I have myself right now.
There you go.
I do believe that there's 2 prospects who are probably gonna, well, at this point at least, they're a little bit higher than me. We'll see where the spectacular takes us. I'd almost want to see them put lower, not for my sake, but for the sake of other members. But we'll see as time goes on. We still have 3 more months, fortunately.
Right. You want me to go with number 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's another take. So number 2, I have another model of not consistency, but a model of excellency. Really. We're talking about not just my coach, not just your coach, the coach, Coach Christmas. I have him at number 2. Here's why.
Wow.
He's been at number 1 2 seasons in a row, has had no reason why he wouldn't be number 1 again this year. None. He's performed amazingly. I don't know where the committee's mind's at. Maybe they want to throw a fresh new face. I don't know how his first opening video was phenomenal. He's really done nothing to tell me why he wouldn't be number 1. But this is my rankings, right? This isn't the committee's. This isn't anybody else's. This is how I feel.
Personal feeling.
I feel he's number 2. I think for reasons I'll list at my number 1, there should be a different number 1 this year.
Okay. I like that a lot. Number 2, I actually have Lars. I do believe that, again, going back to it, my spectacular performance last year, I think, was stellar. Yeah. My campaign, I'd rate an F.
Yeah.
My performance, I'd rate like an A. Lars is one of those people who their performance and their campaign has always been solid from the start. Lars is, I don't know how else to say it. He's kind of like the Luka Doncic of the spectacular. He's one of those young guys who comes into a league full of LeBrons, of Durants, of Antetokounmpos, and he rises right to the top almost immediately. He's one of those people like, you believe he might be egregious. I personally believe that a lot more people are more egregious. The dead fish costume, phenomenal. It seems like this kid is lights out, and almost anything he does is due to impress. I'm very excited to see his campaign this year. I know that in years past, I would see him posting a video and I'd just kick my feet up and watch. It was always something to see. So I'm looking to see Lars up there. I'd put him a step below Joe's campaign, who I believe is probably the overall best, just given last year. But if we're talking like long time, Lars has been in it for 3 years now. He's been spectacular every year, for lack of a word.
No, that's the best word to use.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess I'll go number 1. Listen, you know the rankings. There's no point hiding it now. I think the number 1 pick this year, well, I'm not projecting like what the picks are be. These are just my rankings for players, right?
Well, you have no say in either.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't understand.
There's two things before I list this. I want to clear up two things that have been confusing. One, people think I have some insider information or influence on who gets picked. I would love if that were the case. Unfortunately, it isn't.
I know.
And number two, the confusing thing about the committee, there's been a couple people that have told me, the mouthpiece, like let's say this year with I'm sorry, can't even who's the mouthpiece? It's Franklin.
Yes.
He doesn't technically have a vote. So what the mouthpiece is they almost get drafted or scouted by the committee. Their first year on the job, like an intern, is they have to communicate back and forth because the committee doesn't want to, give away their name and likeness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they do a good job, they get bumped up to the committee, and then they are part of the committee who gets a vote.
Along with OD.
So no one shoot the messenger. Don't start shooting the mouthpiece because it's their first season just as much as it is a lot of ours.
Can I add? I don't know. I know you've known the committee for a while. Do you know who the committee tends to get their mouthpieces and why they're always so ethnic and foreign? I mean, I know Tim was about your average man, but I mean,
right.
You can't even find that if you looked.
No, and that's what I started to wonder this year because what are they even looking for? Because you get Odysseus, where the hell's he from? No one knows.
Nobody knows.
I don't even know if he has prior work history. And then you get a guy like who I haven't spoken to, so I don't even know where he's from yet. But Franklin, 29 years at Jiffy Lube. 29 years. So this guy's, so how does that prepare you? In what world does that prepare you for the Specky? And I'm not trying to be rude to Franklin.
What I mean,
but I don't know.
We all have day jobs. I mean, you see Leif out there 364 days a year. He's digging trenches and pouring water through it.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Spectacular superstar. I guess it really just depends on how much you love Christmas, or for Zeke's case, like how much you hate it.
Yeah. No, you're right. But my number one ranking this at this point in this moment. I'm sorry, I can't speak right now. Snowflake Smitty. I mean, who the fuck else could it be? Explain to me how he can't go number one. Here's the thing. Okay, has had some of the greatest performances of all time. Last year, his performance was absolutely underrated. Nice. Like you said, your campaign last year, wasn't good. But your performance, and that's all that matters. Campaigns don't carry over. That campaign's thrown out the window. Performance last year was amazing. Has shown consistently over the years can have A performances. Everyone knows what the potential is. We've all seen it. It's happened again and again and again.
Yeah.
Comes out this year. After a bad campaign last year, people starting to talk, he had a good year. He might go like 5. And you come out with a weekly podcast hot out the gate. Said, fuck it, I'm going to start campaigning good. I'm not going to ride my old success. I mean, this is an old horse reinvigorated, and I'm riding it. I am all on Snowflake Smitty, number 1 overall pick. No one exudes spectacular and Christmas cheer more than Snowflake when he's on the top of his game. That's my take.
That means a lot coming from the man dressed up as Santa. Listen, I know a lot of people who are watching right now probably think that this is rigged. Again, not only do I have Dan on first, but at the same time, he picks me first. I want everybody to know that this is not how it goes. I almost want my next contestant to come on and just absolutely slander me. I'm looking forward to it almost. I mean, it just gives me more fuel to work myself up, see what I need to improve on, and get to where I need to get to. I understand I'm not a consensus overall number 1 pick, and I'm probably not by most people's eyes. But, that's the ultimate goal. That's what I'm working towards. I do have Leif at number 1. Leif is listen, like I think Leif puts on a phenomenal show every year. Mm-hmm. Campaign, performance. His campaign always top grade. Just similar to Lars, except Leif has been around forever. He's been doing this for longer than Lars has been alive, almost.
Yeah.
He's just been in it. Like Leif. It's funny how you've been going to the Spectacular every year with Leif since you were a kid. Yeah. Leif leaves to go to Mindshare, or not Mindshare, but whatever he did in California and San Francisco. The year he leaves, you start taking me. I go with you for 2 years. 3rd year, it becomes a competition. I go first overall. Leif comes home from California. I go right down. I mean, and listen, that says something about Leif. He gets in there. As soon as a competition has been involved, as soon as we made this into a competition or the committee made it into a competition, he has been one of those people who they just don't accept to lose. You know?
Well, the first year after he came home, he went second. You went first,
Yeah.
and then he came home, and I was like, "You didn't come." And the committee said you didn't come, so what are you gonna do? But then after that, he was right back to the top. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I mean, rightfully so. He deserves to be up there. But my point is that he is that polarizing where he just runs right back up to the top. He misses a year, he gets right back in and he'll go back up. And he doesn't care about it.
Yep.
He's one of those kids who he would die for the spectacular. I know he would.
I know he would.
And all props to him. Zeke almost did die at the spectacular, blowing himself up.
Yeah.
But that's enough about Zeke. You know how much we all love him. So that's kind of like where I was going. I'm gonna basically put out both me and King Kringle's power rankings out on here, out on the video, just to make public knowledge, not to really put anybody down, lift anybody up, but just kind of see where the overall direction of the league is going. I feel like a lot of people are posting power rankings that are kind of biased or skewed in a way, but I feel like by combining the two power rankings of two people at the same time, I know I'm one of them all the time, but I feel like it's a better outlook for the committee. I feel like everybody kind of gets a better idea of where we're going with this. So yeah, King Kringle, if you don't mind, I'm actually going to select the next contestant. I'd like you to be here for it.
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna give me a few seconds. So
yeah,
thank you again for a great interview, for starting off S.S.S.S.S. This is our first ever episode again, and we hope to see you again soon later on in the season.
Yeah, of course. As you're getting that up, I'll even say something to give you some time.
Yeah.
So like he said, it's great to have other perspectives with power rankings, but just so everyone knows, again, I'm not the committee. I don't know how I have to keep saying that, but neither is Justin or Leif or anyone else who puts out power rankings. So they're just a fun tool to see where really other players, so like the players' consensus of how we feel. The committee could have Mike Johnson first for all the fuck we know. So so these, don't look at these if you're low and think I had no shot, because this has no bearing on what the actual committee's rankings are.
Absolutely. And
so you're never out of it. It's all speculation.
Thank you for saying it. I feel like that's just not stressed enough. I mean, again, we're going to go back to Lars. Lars was so low the year that he was first in the league. Makes it skin of his teeth, gets in there, blows out of the water. Next year he's second. I mean, like, it just goes to show you really don't know what the potential of these prospects are until they make it to the spectacular. The only way you make it spectacular is you put on a good campaign. So so we'll see. Again, this is the 6S, the S.S.S.S.S power rankings. I hope I got 6 in there.
You did. I was slow.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you again next week. And yeah, have a great week, everyone. All right. So